Hi everyone, my name is Liberman-Pincu. I'm an industrial designer and a doctoral candidate in the field of interaction design at HRI at Ben-Gurion University in Israel. My advisor, Professor Tal Gilad, and I are studying the effects of robots' visual qualities on human perception. As an introduction, let me start with a short glance into our wider project. Our research leans on two axioms. The first is robot design is context-driven, which sounds of course reasonable. The design should fit the context, but does it? These are 7 domains we found in our market research. We can see that commercial companies do not follow that rule. The same embodiment is being used for different contexts. The second is robot design is interaction-centered. But what kind of interaction? What type of relationship do we wish to form with our robots? Robots are beneficial for children in various domains and settings, such as healthcare, education, or companionship. To align the robotic appearance with user expectations, we previously proposed two human-robot relationship models. The situational-based model refers to the physical and social environments in which a robot is used, its users, and tasks. This model aims to guide the designer toward the basic design of the robot, referring to the visual qualities that determine the user's first impression. The desired dynamic leads to the selection of visual communication qualities, and even the robot's motion design. In addition, the model offers different personalization tools for better engagement for some categories. Together with the visual qualities evaluation, these models aim to guide industrial designers in the design process of new robots and define the interaction space. This paper focuses on the effect of robots' visual qualities on children's perception. We explored and evaluated existing robots following this methodology. We used Google Images search engine to collect different images of existing robots. We analyzed their appearance and deconstructed their visual qualities. Two evaluation studies were conducted. The first was conducted in person with a small focus group, and the second was distributed to a broader audience via online questionnaires. After gathering various models, we identified them by figure, abstraction level, colors, edge type, and materials. Of those, we then selected 20 models representing common visual qualities in the design of robots for children. For comparisons, we intentionally selected robots that shared several common visual qualities with one difference. For example, choosing the same robotic body in different colors, or choosing similar figures in different abstraction levels. In class, participants watch a presentation showing images of different robots. Following each robot, using the printed forms they had, they were asked to describe their emotions and perception toward each design based on their first impression. Using a word bank of 9 words. In addition, participants were asked to ascribe gender to the robots. Distinguishable design features were perceived differently. Chamfered-edged robots were perceived as mature, cool, and interesting, while rounded-edged robots were described as cute, childish, and cool. The results indicate two factors affecting the perception of a robot gender: edge type and color. Chamfered-edged robots were ascribed almost anonymously as males, while the perception of rounded-edged robots was more diverse. Blue robots were significantly perceived as males more than identical white robots. The participant's gender was also found to affect the perception. The girls described furry robots as cute, cool, and interesting, while the boys had chosen the words cute and childish. Our final step is the creation of abstractive illustrations, rule graphs, and design tools. We use images and diagrams to emphasize visual characteristics effects. These will be used as guidelines to structure the path for future designs of situational and dynamic-based robots. Here is an example of a rule graph presenting 4 abstractive illustrations, highlighting colors and edge types. The chart displays the words ascribed by the participants, showing the impact of the visual characteristics on the children's perceptions of the robots. For the online study, we asked participants at the age of 10 to 14 to fill an online questionnaire. It was similar to the one administered in the in-person study, with one distinction. The word interesting was replaced by the word intriguing, which was found to be more suitable based on the focus group study. The descriptive results reveal diversity in the perception of the given robots. Yet, some characteristics were more notable than others. The words mature, childish, cute, friendly, cool, and intriguing were chosen more times than scary, old-fashioned, and boring. We then delve deeper into the visual qualities, analyzing them as 5 building block categories: figure, abstraction level, material, color, and edge type. A general linear mixed model analysis was conducted to determine which visual qualities have a significant influence on each one of the perceived characteristics. This table summarizes the statistically significant effects. The figure type, pet-like, human-like, or unrecognized, influences user perception of the SAR. Participants perceived human-like figures as old-fashioned and sometimes scary, while pet-like figures are perceived as cuter and less mature than human-like and unrecognized figures. The unrecognized figures were ascribed as the coolest type. The abstraction level of robots affects the perception of almost every characteristic. More detailed figures were perceived as scarier than abstractive ones, while abstractive figures were perceived as cuter and cooler. Robots made of soft materials were perceived as cuter and more childish than hard materials, while hard materials were ascribed as more mature and more intriguing. Color affects the user perception of almost every characteristic. Colored robots were perceived as more mature than white or mainly white robots, but also as more old-fashioned, boring, and in some cases scarier. White and mainly white robots were perceived as cuter and friendlier than colored robots. Chamfered-edged robots were perceived as more intriguing and mature than rounded-edged or combined. Participants described them as less cute and less friendly than others. Our results confirm that visual qualities affect children's perception of socially assistive robots. The robot's figure, abstraction level, material, edge type, and color emerge as significant factors affecting children's perception, while the participants' characteristics such as gender and age were not found to have a considerable effect. These findings can support designers in forming new robots to match their users and context of use. For example, chamfered-edged robots were perceived as more mature and intriguing than rounded-edged or combined robots. This appearance may be suitable for tutoring robots and in cases where discipline is needed. For cute SARs, designers can use a pet figure or an unrecognized figure and avoid human-like figures. Furthermore, abstract representations of figures are perceived as cuter than detailed figures, and rounded-edged SARs are perceived as cuter than chamfered-edged ones. Hence, this visual appearance can be ideal for companionship robots. These findings can be visualized to support designers and developers' decision-making. This is one example presenting user perception of figure type and abstraction level. This research, however, is subject to several limitations. First, using existing robots' images narrowed our possibilities and limited our ability to conduct complete visual quality comparisons. Second, the studies were conducted in Israel among Hebrew speakers. To ensure that the perception of words in translation to English has the same meaning, we followed a two-way translation procedure. Still, chances exist that our results are sensitive to language differences. Our next step will be to create and reconstruct new robot designs using CAD software to produce illustrations and 3D models. These self-constructed designs will isolate one feature at a time, helping us to evaluate each visual quality effect using online questionnaires and also live interactions with real tasks. The results of the next stage will lead to the development of design tools that can support robotic designers and developers in their designs of new acceptable and desirable robots with a suitable look and feel to fit their context of use. For additional information or any questions, please contact us by mail. Thank you very much for listening.